Which legendary Reddit post, comment can you still not get over? There was a post on r/aww of a gorilla using sign language to tell people not to feed it or something to that effect. To this day, I still laugh when I think about a comment that said, "It's a shame there's so many deaf gorillas." Someone rin r/homeowners trying to get rid of ants in their house. Tons of comments. One fellow redditor suggested maybe there were no ants, that they were hallucinations due to carbon monoxide poisoning. OP had his house tested and turns out there were, in fact, no ants and he was hallucinating them due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Today I learned carbon monoxide can make you see ants. Believe I saw it on Reddit, an IT tech related post. Guy starts a new job as a system admin. No other IT at the place. Previous admin had been there for just about freaking forever and left behind some documentation, but not enough to make the job easy. The guy finds a note from the previous tech with a few missed tips, and then says if there is a critical emergency and everything else has failed, there is a box in the server room behind the switch, open only as a last resort. Guy is there for a few years. Metaphorical fires get fixed. He learns the tricks of the place. But one day the server doesn't boot, tries everything, can't get it to work, all the files are there, the company can't function, actual fires are about to start. Guy freaks out and remembers the emergency box and figures now should be an emergency and figures maybe the guy left access info to offsite backups or tape drives or some sort of disaster recovery and goes into the server room. Behind the switch is a box, pulls it out and opens it to find a bottle of tequila. I need the link to this one. This is amazing. I can't find the post, but it was a man whose son was born evil. They knew it right away, born in the 70s, I believe. When he, the son, was older, he tried to kill his baby sister, or something, and the mum started to beat him up. The dad left the room and waited until she stopped. She came out 20 minutes later and he said, "Is he dead?" She said, "My God, I hope so." They locked themselves downstairs for 2 weeks, listening to him move around a little bit here and there. After 2 weeks he left and they never saw him again. That was chilling. I worked 1 year with a student that sounds like that man's son. Random attacks out of nowhere. No smiles that weren't malicious. Graphic depictions of what he was going to do to me that went way beyond what a child like him should be able to envision. He was a first grader. Talked about the different ways his pets died, but looking nearly cheerful about it. I was injured several times that year. To this day I tense when I hear his name or anyone speak in the same distinctive sounding speech pattern he had. Think Hannibal Lecter with the ebbs and flows that are just a little jarring. I once ran into him at a grocery store and still won't go there. I'm afraid he's going to recognize my car even though I haven't seen him in 3 years. I was put on him because I was the only one who could keep him even a little bit in line, and that was only because I was willing to give him exactly 0 strikes. It was exhausting and I was seriously relieved when I got a different job. I've worked with kids who are a handful before. If you work with them close enough you usually figure out what triggering their behavior. Problems at home, trying to fit in with the crowd, etc. Even if you didn't know, it usually became obvious when something was about to trigger them. You figured out Bobby clicks his tongue when he silent reads and Jake can't stand it and expressed his frustrations through slamming his hand on Bobby's desk and telling him to stfu. You make sure Bobby and Jake sit nowhere near each other and maybe invest in a white noise machine, and you can work on figuring out that Jake's dad just left them. But not this kid. We could never find a trigger, a scenario outside school, nothing. We had experts come in to look at him and he'd suddenly be the most charming child on the planet. But before they made it to the parking lot he'd be trying to bite us. We begged his parents to try to take him to a therapist or a doctor, but they just kept trying to change his diet. If this kid grows into a serial killer I would not be shocked in the slightest. I occasionally Google his name just to see if anything had happened with him. I tried really hard to find the original post, but I couldn't find it anymore. Sad face. It was a post in r/Amithi hole where an Uber driver drove a girl to a restaurant where she was meeting her boyfriend. Before he dropped her off, he gave her a respectful comment, nothing inappropriate and without any bad intentions. He was asking if he was the a-hole and the answer was no. The best part happened in the comments section where somebody asked if he was living in a specific city. He replied a little freaked out with yes. Turn out it was a stranger cousin that he gave the compliment to. After he dropped her off at the restaurant, she went inside to meet her boyfriend. However, it wasn't a nice night because he broke up with her. She told her cousin that the compliment that her Uber driver gave her some comfort or made her happy or something like that. The girl and the Uber driver then contacted each other through the cousin. I don't know what happened afterwards, but if somebody knows this post, I will give you a virtual hug if you could link it. This 14-year-old kid in a not safe for work post when asked what he was doing there, and he replied, I don't go to work. I mean, they're not wrong. That one Redditor that spent his entire grandmother's inheritance on a Twitch streamer, thinking they were going to get married. PSA. The first comment is the transcription. Scroll down. Instead of trying to read the blurry image. I found you after I needed you. There is cringe and then there is this. Frick. And there at the end I thought he was wrapping up with a lesson learned on how to interact. Read PPL. I want to go 5 minutes back in time and make a better choice about clicking this link. So a while back there was a post, I think on r/insane people Facebook, of a woman looking for a bus to hold 60 people for a church function and was so freaking hostile and rude about it. In one post she says, next and 4 months on Reddit people were always saying next to everything, but it seemed nobody besides me remembers this and I can't find the post. The post where a woman is saying how her husband and Phil are prepping for her to die during childbirth even though she and fetus are perfectly healthy. They 100% were plotting to kill her and there not being an update has me scared for her. The man whose girlfriend buried his canned beans in the woods. My favorite response to that story is the guy with the metal detector who says, I'll find those fricking beans. I will not jeopardize the beans. I watched the Woody Harrelson I'm Here to Talk About Rampart Ask Me Anything debacle happen in real time. I think it's one of the only times I ever actually participated in an Ask Me Anything, as it was happening rather than reading the whole thing later. It was magical. The description of how rabies kills you. It's Zombie Bagel Guy, a Reddit original, or was that reposted from somewhere? The man who attempted to throw his steak out the window. His wife followed up with her version a little later. Link. I remember some guy asked Reddit what movie really made an impact on their life, and some guy said Paul Blart. Mall Cop, and somehow every post from that point on would end up relating to Paul Blart. Even made some leaks into other threads. Wait, that's what that was about. I remember seeing Paul Blart, Mall Cop on the most random posts. LMAO. A recent one. But that 40-something-year-old guy who bought like 5 Plitten bikes to give to the family of his 21-year-old Eastern European wife because they told him it was tradition in their country. Excuse me, what? One time on r/relationship advice, some guy posted a thread called My 25M girlfriend 26F baked all the beans. Now I consider to end our relations. What do I do? It's deleted now though, but I still have the full post. I discovered this in another one of these AskReddit posts, but honestly it's too good not to put here. Now without further ado, here it is. Hello. My girlfriend and me have done dating for 5 months. I thought this girl is very good and became in love with her. Yet even so, on this Monday, I come home and found she has baked all my beans. Yes, all. Oh brother. In my cupboard I store several bags of bean to make soft and to bake on some days, to have a bit of baked bean on my dinner, or heck, a lunch too some days. But on the Monday I find this girlfriend baked all the beans. I say, why do you bake my beans? And she say something as I bakes them good to save time, so I bakes them all now. I am astonished and full of dismay. I say I can for not eat all the beans. She say she has froze many of the beans so as we can unfrozen the on a later day and eat some at a time. But if a bean is frozen unfrozed, the very good and very nice flavor of bean is gone far. A bean is best if baked fresh as a Sunday pie, not to be frozen unfroze. I told my girlfriend I am so sad of this, As to my opinion, the baking of the beans and to freeze them has ruined all my beans. She say I am gone haywire by my enragement and sad manners. But I hates what she did to my beans. On the days before Monday I thought, will we marry the girlfriend? Well, it might be so. But now I am so sad she baked them beans. I am considered to end our relations and not be the boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. But, is my idea wrong? Could my girlfriend make promise to not bake the beans? I do not know what doing to do and how to feel forgiving on her. The yes. All. Oh brother, kills me. But now I am so sad she baked them beans. This is the one that always gets me. There was a post about how a guy closed an elevator door on a dad and son who were trying to make it. The guy thought he was pressing the open button, so he smiled at them the entire time it closed on them. The image of this is hilarious. So way back when, 2008 to 2009, some Redditor got very excited over his 2 AM chili and posted an extensive tutorial, in full Frickia Bell Peppers' style. Naturally, this became a meme. Concurrently, another Redditor posted nothing less than the life hack of the century. Freeze a block of water, squirt shower gel on top, freeze that, and now you have ice soap. TM. This was a fine enough goof, but the OP's insistence that this was much more efficient than putting shower gel on one's body made it become a meme. So what happens when two memes are popular at the same time? Exactly. Someone froze a block of chili and rubbed their body with it, and achieved the coveted #1 spot. This site is weird like that. Sorry, no links as I'm on mobile. Many thanks to whomever is willing to dig them up.